Hi everyone, I'm Caroline from Pario Gallico. I usually do historical food and crafts demonstration, but with many of our events cancelled for the moment, and a lot of you having to stay at home, I have been asked if I could share some of my recipes and techniques for you to try at home, and even to involve children if you are looking after some of them, and if they're not going to school at the moment. So today I decided to show you how to make cheese at home. First thing you need are these. First and pretty much only ingredient, you need some milk. Now, you might have bought a little bit too much milk. It might be going a little bit old for the moment and you probably won't drink all of that. Don't throw it away. Turn it into cheese, and that's quite a magical thing to do actually with young people. Less magical if you already know how to make cheese at home, to be honest with you. But here you go, at least now you will know. So you need full fat milk. It works as well if you have skimmed or semi-skimmed milk, but genuinely the full fat is much better. You need any kind of acid, so you can use lemon juice, for example. You can use cider vinegar, malt vinegar, wine vinegar, any type of vinegar. I prefer cider because it tastes a little bit sweeter. A wooden spoon to stir with, a bowl, and you can choose, if you have one, you can get a cheesecloth, so that's a muslin cloth made out of cotton. It can be made out of linen, or a magnificent strainer. That's a bit easier to have at home, I guess. Right, so the first thing you need to do is to heat up the milk in a pan on your hob, and you put all the milk you have from the bottle. It doesn't matter what the amount is, all the milk in the pan, and you heat it up, okay? All the milk. Doesn't matter how much you have, all of it. Right, so you want to put it on a medium heat, not too hot at the start, otherwise you risk to burn it. Now, if you want to, as I'm really not patient, I have to admit, you can put it on, say, you know, number 4, number 5, but you have to stir it constantly. If it begins to attach at the bottom of the pan, take it off the heat. My milk needs to be heated up, but never to boil. You can bring it to just below boiling point, but for the moment I want really strong curds to make a little bit like a mozzarella cheese. So I need to heat it up quite high, but always remember, don't leave it to boil. Now for that, instead of using rennet, I can use lemon juice. You probably will need about half a lemon. You can use cider, wine or malt vinegar, anything you have in your house really. But lemon and cider vinegar will have a milder, nicer taste, I find personally. Now if you do Roman food, you would tend to use wine vinegar because they make a lot of wine and vinegar is just a byproduct of it. If you want to do more Britannic, so Iron Age food, then you would use malt vinegar, byproduct of beer making, or cider vinegar that you can make with crab apples. Now for this demonstration I'll use cider vinegar. Unfortunately it will be Roman or British today because we have a magnificent Roman glass. So that's my cider vinegar. Now I would like you to have a look closely at how I can know if the milk is hot or not. For me, that's hot enough now. So if you go closer, you can see there's a bit of bubbles just on the side of the pan there. And you can probably see it because I chose a black pan. There's a lot of smoke, of mist coming up. If it begins to slightly bubble on the side, that's just before boiling point. Now if you see a bit of mist on the surface, that's fine. You are just below that. So in any case, I would like it a little bit hotter than that. So I'll keep heating it up. But once again, keep stirring, don't burn your pan. That's something I usually do, even in pots around the fire, and it is terrible to clean up afterwards. Right, so I think that's okay now. Once it's hot enough, take it off the heat. So I turn it off and I move it slightly, this way I'm not on the heat anymore. Right, now the only thing you have to do is to keep stirring and to add a little bit of vinegar, really a little bit at a time. I start by well, a big spoonful. Use a tablespoon of vinegar, about that much. Put it in and just stir it a little bit. Have a look and stir gently, because you might already see, on my spoon especially, because the vinegar was in it, but even in the pan just there, that it will begin to slightly curdle. Whoop. If you put too much vinegar, really your cheese will taste like it. That's why lemon juice is usually advised. And that's why I pour a tiny little bit, a drop at a time. She says a drop and then she has a full spoonful of it. I like my cheese really vinegary, so that's all right. Right, you can see the difference now. It begins to float at the surface, look at that. So these will be the curds. Keep going. You want to have a clear, completely clear liquid, a bit like, it sounds delicious, a bit like dirty water, and little bits floating at the top. Yeah, I realize how delicious that sounds. Here you go. So now all the curds are coming together. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all right. If it's still a little bit white like that, you can still add some vinegar. But to be honest with you, I have my curds. I'm quite happy with that. Oh, go on then. I will beat myself up because I put too much vinegar. But to be honest, once you have really strong curds, it might be easier for you because you might not need a cheesecloth. There you go. Now you can clearly see the difference. I'll stop stirring. Up this way you can see I have the curds on one side and you have the yellowy ivory, to not say dirty liquid on the other. That is whey, okay? So you have cheese curds and whey. This is not buttermilk. I have had a lot of questions about that. This is whey. This tastes acidic. There are no milk proteins anymore in it. Do not use it to make cakes. So mind yourself, don't burn yourself, leave it to cool down. She says, not doing it, but here you go. Huzzah! Yes. So the curds are strong enough, they are close together so they don't go through. You will lose a little bit of curds in any case because that strainer is not as fine as a woven cloth anyway. So cheesecloth is always the best. But if you don't have it, you know what, don't worry about it. Okay, so up, put your curds in. See, they really stay well together. Add a little bit of salt and mix it in together. I pour back in the strainer. Once again, you have plenty of time, I'm sure, to clean your kitchen, so do exactly as I do and put some everywhere. Here you go. Right. And now you can leave it to strain again. I would leave it for about, if you want a soft cottage cheese, you can make it just before lunch and about 5-10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and that will be done. This one I will leave to cool down for about 20 minutes now. Right, so for the moment we have that little dish. I will fill it up with the cheese we just made. It's a good amount. I'm very surprised. Usually I use full fat, sometimes half fat, green top, if you see what I mean. Try to use some milk from the farm, but genuinely for the moment, anything you have available that is going a bit old or a bit that you don't want to use as a fresh milk. Right, so that's a decent amount of cheese, isn't it? Now, try to fold all your little garlic leaves in a diagonal. There you go. Oh, look at that, so pretty. So that will give a little bit of flavour to the cheese, but genuinely it's the salt and whatever you put in that is important. It almost contains it. I'm so proud of myself. Right guys, so now you learned how to make some cottage cheese or fresh cheese. You can make it at home, but I already had a question. What to do if you don't have any wild garlic leaves? You don't need to wrap your cheese up, so you can put it in a dish, in the fridge, in a Tupperware and keep it for later, or like myself, you can just have it for lunch and eat it now. Now, if you don't want to have it savoury, you can have it sweet as well. You can make anything you want with it. I usually add a little bit of honey, some seeds if you have some, chopped up dried fruits or fresh fruits, or just plain like that, or even a bit of jam actually. And you can have it sweet as a dessert. Now, if you have any more questions, feel free to post, send me a message on Pario Gallico Facebook page, email address, website, anything like that. And what I would like to ask you is, if you make some at home, send me photos, send me videos, send me drawings or anything like that. Let me know how it went for you and if you liked it or not. And if you want to see something else in the next video, let me know and we'll try to do that. Have a good day.